welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, 18-hour special initiative that celebrates the undying entrepreneurial spirit of micro, small and medium enterprises. On the show today, a quick recap of an interview that I did with the top management of NIT earlier. On the show today, a conversation with Crossword, and on our Inside segment tonight, we have two companies on Bright Sparks, Clovia as well as Fresca Juices. So that's what we have in store for you tonight. It's clearly a packed show. Let's get started. Now, while the government is aggressively pushing Skill India and Digital India, I spoke with the management of NIT on how MSMEs and entrepreneurs can participate more in these government programs and how they should harness technology more in their businesses. Here's a slice of that exclusive conversation.
GST hopefully will simplify various things, but it can also complicate things. But that's a reality. We are all working in the same industry. So all our competitors will have to deal with the benefits as well as the additional complexities that a new policy may bring. Our desire, of course, would be that all new policies make things much simpler because we are a small company. Every legislation which creates more complexity creates more work for us, creates therefore more overhead cost structures. And therefore, in general, I would say that from an MSME perspective, there is a great desire for all MSME companies that the government limits the level of complexity of legislation that govern us. There are today many legislations which tend to be kind of across the board. They apply to a listed company, whether you're 1,000 crore of revenue or you're 1 lakh crore of revenue, you still have to do the same things, which in some ways seems a little unnecessary.
Why look at expanding an offline physical bookstore retail chain at a time when most readers are reading online? I spoke with the management of Crossword about their advice on how small businesses can stay relevant in an offline mode at a time when all businesses are going digital. Here's what they had to say. Kinjal, thank you so much for coming down to our studios today and talking to our viewers about how one, you're undertaking innovation at your business, and two, also how it's changing so much and how it's necessary to keep up, whether it's technology, whether it's GST. Let me start by asking you to tell our viewers exactly how you're using technology more and more at a time when most people are buying their goods and services online. How does an offline model like yourself then ensure you stay relevant?
So what's happened in the country over the last few years is consumers have got an option to look at products online, make a decision of purchase online. However, what we have seen is consumers are shopping in physical brick and mortar stores frequently. In fact, our stores, what we have realized is consumers probably research books online, come in the store and physically buy. Because when they come to a store, they just not look at a particular book, but they look at other books which are relevant in the same genre and then take a purchase decision. And typically what we have done is we have built our stores as community centers, and hence where people come in to discover new authors, to discover new titles. Your point on technology is extremely relevant. I think every retailer has to, or every, I would say, business has to embrace technology. They have to work with technology.
So given that experience and given your understanding that technology is something that you can't be threatened by, technology is something that you have to necessarily embrace, like you're saying, what advice would you have for our viewers who are in traditional businesses, whether it's manufacturing or other MSMEs, about the role that technology can play in furthering their business?
Currently, one of the biggest challenge we face is customer walking into the store, we are not able to recognize him. So if assuming an XYZ customer walks into the store, we don't know he's walked into the store, and he's our most loyal customer. So what we are trying to do is, how do we recognize him when he comes to the store? Once he comes to the store, how can the store manager know that he's walked into the store and hence he can be greeted saying that, so Mr. XYZ, how can he help you? And at the same point of time, he's already got a communication of what books he's bought last when he's come into the store. So what is going to happen is the communication is going to become very personalized. Technology is going to play a role everywhere. It's not just going to be e-commerce where a consumer can sit at his home in Vijayawada and buy books online, but it's also going to be sharing feedback. So we are really working with technology right now to ensure we know out of the 91 stores that we have, which are the stores where the customer feedback is extremely positive, which are the stores where we need to work on to improve the customer feedback. So, it is going to be playing a role everywhere, not just buying.
Would you say that innovation is something that you do constantly, and how critical is that really to identify what should be the changes you make and what perhaps you put on the back burner?
Absolutely. I think your point is absolutely relevant. I have this personal view that if you innovate or you perish, and that is clear. We as bookstores have been relevant for the last 24 years, and we have a continuous pipeline of innovation that we do. I have a different thought on innovation. The innovation should not come from the top, it should come from the bottom. And we do this constantly by doing innovation drive in our offices, which helps us to give us great ideas. We're doing lots of continuous innovations, be it taking feedback from customers, be it kind of understanding how do we integrate our overall loyalty program. So, analytics I think plays a huge role in terms of driving customers back to our store. So, innovation is extremely important.
I want to talk about how a brand like yours reaches out to tier 2 and tier 3 cities as well, and ensures that you have a connect there or a reach there.
We have 33 cities where we are present today. A large portion of this is tier 2 and tier 3, right from a Kohima to a Gandhidham or a Kerala to probably Delhi. We are present in a lot of smaller tier town cities. I think these cities require us the most because they do not have any organized store. In fact, there are so many cities still which does not have a good bookstore. And when we go to these cities, what we realize is the reading habits are very different than in Mumbai, primarily because these guys have not got accustomed to reading at a very early stage, because they did not have access to bookstores. They used to, probably a customer from Gandhidham used to go to Ahmedabad to buy books, or a customer in Kolhapur used to go to Pune to buy books. But since now we have a store in these cities, the customer can actually go there and buy, and the reading habit evolves. We have seen customers actually going from basic reading, which I would say a Jeffrey Archer or a Sidney Sheldon, then maturing themselves to literary reading over a point of time. So, I think each city walks through a cycle, and I think we measure the cycle very clearly.
Okay, you're talking about reading habits, and one thing that has drastically changed over the last year or a few years now here in India, of course, is the use of, say for example, Kindle. Yes. And more people seem to be going towards that. We see a lot of foreign giants who are coming into India and undertaking some aggressive marketing to ensure that the way Indians read changes. How do you face up to that? What is the competition like in your industry, and how do you sort of change to keep in tune with that?
Perfect. I think the competition is immense, which I think which gives us that energy every day to come and do some new things. I think whenever we get such issues, we go back to our core vision. Our core vision is inculcate reading habits. So, if your vision is to inculcate reading habits, I would say Kindle is a benefit because it helps to build the reading habits. As long as consumers are reading, I as a retailer am very happy, because this is a 1.29 billion population, and to become a bestseller today, you need to sell 10,000 books and you become a bestseller. So, which clearly means that there is a huge gap. Lots of people still not reading. So, whichever form of reading, be it libraries as we discussed, or probably a Kindle, all of these are benefit because it helps in building the reading habits. These consumers are going to read more, and hence they are going to come to my stores and to discover new authors and buy something else. So, we see this as an opportunity purely.
How does discounting work in your business at a time when most online e-commerce retailers, in whichever industry they are in, tend to offer huge discounts? So, how does that work for you?
Well, I think again, the view to look at it is, when we started our first store in Mahalakshmi way back 24 years back, books were only sold as discount, and we started a store with a very clear pretext that we are an experiential store. We will sell at the publisher determined price, but we will give you the experience and discoverability which is unparalleled. So, we had a problem then. We have a problem today, where books are used as marketing mediums or marketing tools to pull customers by online sites, and hence they give discounts or offers which are even below the price of the product.
How is GST going to change the nature of your industry?
Well, I think GST is going to have definitely a positive impact on the profit and loss account for us. A large portion of our cost is service tax on rentals that we pay. Currently, we do not get a set off on service tax fully, because all our income is VAT income that we get through selling of products, and you can't take a set off. Once the GST comes on board, we will definitely get a positive impact on the set off of service tax to VAT.
As we're winding down this interview, my last two questions for you. One, we're just coming up on the festive season.
Yes.
How are you gearing up for that?
Well, I think this festive season is extremely important for us. Q3 for all retailers is the biggest quarter of all. So we are doing a lot of things. We are trying to bring a new customer into our store, and hence we intend to do a regional festival. So we're trying to promote other languages. Going in from there, we are doing a lot of customer engagement ideas. So bringing in international authors to India, doing a mythology fest in around Diwali. So we're doing a lot of exciting things for customers because we want customers to come and spend time in stores, discover something new is what we always say, and at the same point of time feel that festivity in the store.
Okay. As we went down this interview then, you started talking about how the past 24 years since you've launched have really changed for your industry. What's the next maybe decade looking like?
I've always been a believer that the long term that we all retailers or as businesses used to think about is becoming a big challenge, because you actually don't know what's going to happen. And as retailers or as leaders, the only thing that I am saying, and I think I am saying, is every leader has to kind of every 6 months reskill himself, because the new challenge is going to be very different. It's going to be very fast. It's going to be very disruptive. And hence, if these are the challenges that you're going to stay with, you will have to skill yourselves. You will have to have teams and people who are continuously innovating with you and wanting to strive for excellence.
Time for a quick break. On the other side, on our Bright Spark segment, Clovia as well as Fresca juices. Welcome back. You're with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow, and on Bright Sparks tonight, we're featuring Clovia and Fresca juices. Now, even as competition is fierce in the online retail space, how do companies go about differentiating themselves? We caught up with homegrown Clovia and asked the founders what advice they would have for our viewers on staying relevant and staying ahead in a highly fragmented market. Here's what they had to say.
Being spoiled for choice has officially reached a new level given the umpteen offerings of the online retail market. In this ever-growing online retail landscape, making a mark is a challenge. But Clovia is an online lingerie store that in a short span, since its inception in 2013, has managed to stand out.
When I started working joint workforce in 2004, around that time, I think you would also recall, our outerwear had undergone a big change in last decade, from wearing the formal workwear used to be the traditional salwar suits with dupattas, then moved on to kurtis, and now it's as varied as it gets. But the innerwear hadn't really kept pace. The undergarments were still a problem. On every morning while dressing up, you would wonder what to team with this. So it started with that personal experience, yes, but then after research, we checked out what was available in retail stores, etc., and then we figured out how the current distribution system was really the key problem and how we could disrupt it.
Catering to the needs of women across age groups, the website draws over 1.5 million visitors per month. One might think that most of these consumers come from Tier 1 cities, but the founders happily debunk this myth in a conversation with ET Now.
Initially, we started with a very small base of thought process where we said, okay, let's target the lowest hanging fruit, which is the urban audience. We started with the Tier 1. Our initial audience was a 70-30 split, with 70% in favor for Tier 1. In last 2.5 years, this number has actually turned around. Almost 70% of the audience is now coming from Tier 2 towns.
Clovia ships around 250,000 units a month, and all these products are designed, manufactured and packaged within India. For an online-only product, fighting for market share in a fragmented marketplace, Clovia has a few USPs that are working in its favor. A user-friendly website with the option of discreet viewing in public areas, technology is of utmost importance to the company. According to the founders, Clovia's strength lies largely in its robust technology-backed inventory management.
Lingerie presents a lot more complicated problem. If you were to bank yourself, 100,000 pieces on a single style, all of a sudden the life gets a lot more complicated for you, because if the style doesn't run and you're already in a distribution mechanism, you cannot recall, so you will liquidate, and all of a sudden your profits go down. So we said, how can we turn this around? Considering that we have an edge that we can speak to the customer directly. So we would take, a risk of the minimum possible quantity that you could have heard in the industry, just to start us and set up a style. The moment the style goes live, the technology engine with its big data / machine learning starts to capture and understand, whether this is making sense for a replenishment or not.
Clovia's production capacity of 700,000 units has at its heart over 500 skilled laborers that form a second layer of mini entrepreneurs. As opposed to large manufacturing units, Clovia carves out its products through this entrepreneurial ecosystem.
Kid and I, when we started, and we, it was not easy, because when we would approach larger setups or factories to make products for us, and we realized that the minimum order quantities are huge, and if we want to build a more customer feedback based brand, then it's not going to be possible to work at such numbers. We started to approach these production managers, patent masters and designers working with a lot of national and international brands, and we set them up. We gave them capital assistance, and we set them up with machineries and a little bit of a setup, smaller setup, starting with 10,000 units production per month, and now they are as big as 100,000 units production per month, some of them. I think that's where we created a second tier of MSMEs. We created entrepreneurs such as ourselves.
Realizing that the maximum brand promotion happens via referrals, Clovia has also come up with a unique system of brand promotion, encouraging entrepreneurship.
We started to get a lot of queries from women, mothers who've taken off work, a lot of housewives who wanted to sell Clovia products to their circle of families and friends using social media, WhatsApp, etc. And eventually we did decide to give out our products and allow them to earn commission, and now it's become such a sizable number that we finally put it up on our website, inviting other brand promoters to come in and join this new wave of Clovia's brand ambassadors. And it's amazing, we get about 150 leads every day. Every day we get so many women calling us and asking us to allow them to sell Clovia products.
The online lingerie market in India is emerging, and with customized products as per consumers' location, preferences and feedback, Clovia is sure to pack a punch.
Tonight on Bright Sparks, we're featuring India's fastest growing juice brand, Sri Banke Bihari Foods, which manufactures juices under the brand names of Fresca and Fruzo. Now, Fresca offers a wide range of packaged juices with different flavors, all to cater to the Indian palate. Libza Manan spoke with the management. Here's what she found out.
From traditional fruit flavors like guava, mango and lychee to the quintessential lemonade shikanji, Fresca juices, which initially started out with 2 signature flavors of lychee and mango, is today quenching the thirst of juice lovers with 10 different flavors. Fresca Juice's MD and second generation entrepreneur Akhil Gupta's sharp business acumen has been instrumental in adding this brand to the traditional business of Sri Banke Bihari Foods.
With the festive season kicking in, what does Fresca Juices has in store for the consumers?
We have various gift packs for the festive season. We have a pack size of 8 bottles of 300 ml and then 6 bottles of 300 ml and then a tetra. We have a 6-piece tetra pack, so ranging from 100 to somewhere around 200 rupees gift packs with assorted flavors in each pack, so that the gift packs remain affordable.
And what sort of difference does the brand witness in its sales figures during the annual festive season?
We see a sudden rise in demands due to especially Diwali kind of a thing, and nowadays little people being more conscious, health conscious, and then not having less of sweets and things like that, and believing more on the nutritional values of the fruits, etc. And this thing, the juices have picked up a lot during the festive seasons.
Any new products or flavors in pipeline that you want to add under the brand's umbrella?
Their seasonality factor is there in juices. We are thinking of some vegetable juices to be introduced so that we can do something in winters also. So winter is a little dull season for juices. So we think some vegetable juices might help. And the vegetable juices, there's no sugar also, that also adds to it, that we might go in for some kind of a flavored milk and dairy also.
With India getting increasingly health conscious, Fresca is planning to launch vegetable and low sugar juices. So what sort of research goes behind the launch of new products?
If you see our tagline, it is drink the fruit. The main idea behind bringing up a new flavor is, if at all we are able to reach the taste of the fruit, very close to the taste of the fruit, then only we try and bring in that flavor. So we keep on working on the recipe, and we can keep on doing the R&D till the time we reach a taste and we think that would be accepted as the original taste.
The brand has 2 manufacturing facilities across North India and boasts of housing the latest machinery, giving consumers high-quality products prepared without any human interface. With a strong focus on its tagline, "Drink the fruit," Fresca juices offer a variety of healthy, wholesome and nutritious flavors essential for the health-conscious consumer, and the brand's rigorous quality check procedures ensure that Fresca lovers get the taste of seasonal fruits all year round.
What sort of marketing and promotion strategies does the brand use to gain popularity among consumers?
We are doing the in-film branding also. Recently we did a in-film branding in Azhar movie. We are doing hoardings. We are doing the TVCs also. We are doing TVCs. We have done some TVCs where we'll be doing extensively the TVCs also. And moreover, we are doing the on-ground promotion activities like promotions at schools, at the mall activations, and doing for some CSR activities also.
There is fierce competition in the market from established players like Real and Tropicana. What has been your strategies to stay ahead in the market?
There is a high acceptance level for our juices, for the taste that we have created. So, and when there is a consumer acceptance is there is no problem at all to create a market. All you need is a good distribution network, organized distribution, and a good branding and marketing strategy. And as well as the market in India is growing for these juices.
Being a traditional MSME, what sort of optimism do you have for GST?
I think it should be good for the industry. As of now, we think we welcome the GST coming in. So it suits us more for brands like us.
The brand clocked an annual turnover of 30 crore rupees last year and targets a 10% jump, making its revenues touch a whopping 60 crore rupees in the next fiscal. The company also caters to the aviation and hospitality sector with its packaged jams, ketchup and other condiments. With a strong presence in North Indian cities, Fresca Juices has plans for international expansion, and with new products in pipeline, the brand is well on its way to fulfill its vision.
Completely out of time then on this episode of Leaders of Tomorrow. Do remember that you can write in to us at leadersoftomorrow@timesgroup.com. You can reach us on social media using the hashtag LOT or call us on that number that you see on your screens. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.